This is Sanja.
Yo, check it out. It's my girl Sanja.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, what up, Sanja?
Welcome to another episode of Random Ish with Sanja. Good morning to you. How are you? Hope all is well with you and your world. Honey child, please. I needed a few days, okay? I had to get my focus back together, right? Things for me are moving fast, and I've got to keep up. Like, I wrote a book about this stuff, you know, and it's amazing to me how even though I know the things that I know and I see the things that I see, that still every day is, you know, every day is every day, you know. I had a very interesting past week or so, right? Okay, so there's a couple of things that have been on my mind because of the things that I've gone through in this past week, and that I just want to talk it out real quick, you know, because this is what I do. So basically, I'll talk to myself in the car and like talk it out. Maybe I'll call a friend or something like that, you know, somebody that I could trust and who's like on that vibe thing, you know. Some people you talk to, they just leave you in the exact same place or maybe in a worse energetic situation than when you first started talking to them, you know? I like clarity and I like to have fun, you know? But this past week has been so interesting with my little Uberin and stuff. Okay, first of all, I love it, but I cannot wait for season to start so that I can get all my money from DJing. Weddings. Actually, you know what? Let me promote that here because I have a tendency to not promote what I'm doing. I will talk to people. I will literally be talking to people. Yeah, I wrote a book. Yeah, I have a podcast. Yeah, I'm on the radio. Don't tell them what station I'm on. Don't tell them the name of my book. Don't tell them about my podcast. Yeah, okay. So anyway, girl. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'm like, find me. Universe, help them out. Let them find me. I ain't giving them no information. Anyway, so I just been finding it very, very interesting. All of the, just the things that I've been going through this past week, you know? Fear. Okay, first thing I want to talk about is fear. Okay, fuck fear. Okay. And number two, okay, one more time. Fuck fear. And number two, I don't think we should be facing our fears, guys. Okay. For some of y'all who are just waking up, getting up, living your life, doing your thing, blah, 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 going to sleep, talking on the phone, being on social media, you can do whatever you want. Watch whatever movies you want to watch, talk about whatever you want to talk about, do whatever you want to do. But for those of us who are doing any kind of spiritual walking, who are doing any kind of spiritual awakening, let me tell you something. Wait, I'm sorry. Let me diverse. Do you guys remember Fire Marshal Bill from In Living Color? Let me show you something. Okay, sorry. Anyway, listen, I do not think that we should be facing our fears. Dude, this is what I found, right? So I've been talking to people and, oh, well, do you like to Uber? And I'm like, well, you know, it's good for now. It's like, it's not season. I was DJing. I was only DJing last winter. Chick could barely pay her bills. So I got a freaking DJ and Uber this year. And it's all right. I'm not making as much as I'd like to, but it's all right. And also, it's been making me face my fears with the driving on the hills at nighttime. Don't know where I'm at. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. All right. Hence, that's why I effed up, okay? I know that we see on like all kinds of things where people say, oh, you know, you got to stay out of your comfort zone and do things afraid and blah, blah, blah. Again, if you are not spiritually woke, okay, and you're just waking up and going to school every day or paying your bills or going to work or just doing your thing, and you have no idea about what manifestations are, law of attraction, you have no idea about how powerful your thoughts are, sure, go ahead, face your fears, do your thing, push yourself, motivate, go ahead, crack that whip. But for those of us who are on a spiritual journey, Honey child, please, let me tell you something. Don't ever face your fears again because you will magnify them. You will magnify them and you will cause yourself to freaking go through them. And if we know what we know about these whole laws, once you focus on something, even if you're trying to eliminate it, bruh, you just made it bigger. Can I just tell you that me and my nonchalant ass conversations about facing my fears and driving at night and being on the hills and blah, 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 blah. Can I just tell you that I put myself, that it crescendoed into a manifestation that scared the crap out of me. I am not playing, y'all. Like, bitch, shake it. You know what I'm saying? And what's so funny, and so I've been trying to dissect. I'm like, how in the hell did I, one, attract that to myself? How did I put myself in that situation? And then I literally dissected my thoughts. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I see. Okay, yeah, all right. So we're going to talk about this very shortly, you know. This is just my opinion. And I feel like anybody who has been working with these spiritual laws, listen, gravity is happening whether you know it or not, all right? You are totally involved with gravity, and we are totally involved with like the laws of attraction, whether we know it or not. But once you do know it, things can get they get really, really fun, but then they can also get a little wonky. But what is dope is that if you know energy and momentum, you can slow things down. And my point of this whole conversation is because, Lord, I'm telling you, I was like in my car, I want to live. I just want to live. I want to live. There's so many things I want to do, you know? And it just dawned on me. And then the other thing that came up with the fear is shame, because as I was scared, I started to shame myself into continuing to go. You should be able to handle this. Stop being a pussy, Sanja. You got this. And it was just like, what's so funny is that there are many times when in like if you're running a race, okay, so you're outside and you're working out and you're running, right, and your body gets tired, but you're like, I still have 3/4 of a mile to go, and so you kind of motivate yourself, and you're like, you could do it, you know what I'm saying? This is where the burn is, and it's burning, so now it's really working. There's a lot of crazy things that we tell ourselves, you know what I mean? And I think in some situations it could be beneficial, aka you're running and your car is half a mile away and you kind of want to stop. It'll take you longer to walk that half a mile than if you push yourself a little, not too much, but if you push yourself a little and you kind of maybe jog or run a little bit, you would get there faster. I can understand in those scenarios and circumstances when you're in the car and you're scared crapless and you're like, oh my God, Lord of mercy, I can't keep going. Do I turn around or do I keep going up this big ass, turn around, turn around. It's not worth finding out if you're going to be able to overbuck that current. But what's so funny to me is that as I was sitting there rationally scared, I then started to shame myself into doing it anyway, and it's just funny to me because there's a couple of things that I have, a lot of projects going on. And one of the projects is this podcast that sometimes I could feel like, well, do it anyway. And here's the thing. I don't necessarily want to just put out crap because I feel like even with our artists, we do that because everything is so fast moving and because we are like so hungry for content. Even our artists, our musicians and stuff, people be putting out albums and like they'll have like 1 or 2 good songs on the album. Much pressure, get something out. You know what I'm saying? Produce something, do something, push through. I don't care that you're not feeling inspired. Push through and put it out anyway. Dude, but you can so tell when something has been inspired and when something has just been created, And I think as an artist, all of us want to continuously make stuff that is inspired and not necessarily motivated. But we're in a time period where it's just, there's a lot of content. There's a lot of people pushing things out. There's a lot of hungry people, and they're willing to do whatever, you know what I'm saying, to do what they've got to do. And I applaud you. But I do find it interesting that there's so many people doing so many fabulous, wonderful things out there, and we are just eating it up. But at the same time, I'm just kind of like, are we trying to shame each other, and are we still doing the same thing that media was doing before? Like, because the whole reason why we wanted social media is because media was shoving down our throats certain images that we weren't necessarily agreeing with and that weren't necessarily conclusive to like everyday real life, So people started being like, I want to be able to be creative and put out the information that I want to put out, which is super dope. There's many things to consume. It's just, it's so much. It's just a lot. And I don't know if this is necessarily great content that people are being inspired to, or is this just content that people are being motivated to put up and put out, and people just love it. I can't believe when my daughter told me about, people breaking things and just for the sounds. Like for the sounds and like the people that eat things on camera, that people sit there and watch other people eat pizza or watch people break things. And anyways, so I just think that we are totally moving into a very cool era, but I do feel like, this could be me. These could be my very own feelings. I've been in this industry for a long time, and the things that are acceptable right now were never acceptable. Matter of fact, I lost my livelihood. You know what I mean? For the things that are going on right now. It's very, it's like, wait, what? So I was wild, but now it's normal, and then now I don't even want to be as wild as I necessarily was because everybody else is wild, and is I'm not really one to likes to join the bandwagon. I like to kind of be ahead of the curve, and I feel almost like it's almost a shaming that's happening, that I feel like we're totally taking things back. Let me just be clear. I do feel like within the past 2-3 months that there have been new campaigns where it's being more about being your original self, where it's not so much about having the big booty and the big boobies and the little tiny waist and the long hair extensions and the eyelashes, and you got to be a certain kind of way for you to be accepted, and it doesn't matter how kooky or crazy you are, that as long as you're pretty. I do feel like we're moving out of that, but I with if you're not looking like this, or if you're not boo banging like that, then people are, oh, Kevin, oh yeah, you don't want to be the Kevin Jonas of the Jonas Brothers. Like, really? Bro, he's still singing, he's still doing his thing. Maybe, and if this world is what we create, maybe he wants to do all of that and he wants to be with his brothers, but he doesn't want bitches like, falling over him at his knees, and he doesn't want that pressure of having to stay completely in shape and whatnot. Maybe he just wants to be free. Like, aren't we allowed to just do whatever the hell we want? Anyway, I know you're like, Sandra, you were talking about fears. Listen, so the fear, I feel like us facing our fears brings more things to fear, okay? And then when we're in the middle of facing that fear, then we try to shame ourselves and pushing ahead, I just think that I know that I don't want to do that. I'm taking my time. The whole reason why I wanted this podcast, we're making this really all about me, okay? Taking the time with the podcast, I want to make sure that I'm talking about things that I'm actually passionate about, that I actually want to talk about, and I'm not just putting things out or putting out, just so that I can keep my viewership up. It's a very thin line between facing your fears and doing stuff that just doesn't work. I have in my experience as I've had times where you kind of feel that fear, you got to do something, and then I do it, and then I make the situation worse than if I would have just waited. I'm learning how to really listen and accept that there's certain things that I want and there's certain things that I don't want. And I don't think that facing my fears is the way to help me get there. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, that's something that I've heard all my life, and I used to feel that that's what I was supposed to do. And I honestly, after studying all these laws and getting woke and doing all of these experiments and things like that, I realized that when I face my fears, them bitches come running, screaming at me like crazy. I'm good. You know what I mean? I don't think that, I'm not saying that don't ever do anything that excites you, but I think that sometimes we're using the wrong words, or I'm using the wrong words. I don't want to face my fears, but I do want to do things that are exciting. You know what I mean? I do want adventure. I think that we can do things that that are unfamiliar. We can do things and it should be exciting. I don't think you should be scared. I think we are buying it. I think I was buying into the bullshit. I'm an empath and I'm an energetic person. So again, I'm not necessarily operating like everybody else. So for me, when you tell me to face my fears, bitch, now I'm going to be facing my fears. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? It's not going to make me not afraid. Nope. But I can do things that are uncomfortable, that I've maybe never done before, and it's exciting to see me learn. That's a longer way of saying, do things you've never done. Like, I like that. I like to do things you've never done before. You know what I mean? I like that type of a motivation. Don't tell me to face my fear. I'm not trying to be standing in front of a big ass scary bear, a big grizzly bear with his arms up. Face your fears. Why? So I can anyway. And don't shame people who don't want to face their fears, all right? I want to be comfortable. Let me be very clear. I'm really, this is for the universe, okay? Because I used to be a fighter. I used to be somebody who faced her fears. I used to be somebody who would be, a motivational speaker. I used to be that way. But now that I've been doing the things that I've been doing and the experiments and all of that good stuff, I'm like, no. So let's just be very clear. I want to be very comfortable. Okay, I enjoy contrast in that it helps me decide what it is that I want. Okay, but I want to be comfortable. I want to feel satisfied, happy, joy, satisfied, happy, joy, satisfied. You know what I mean? I'm not really into the whole swinging depressed and angry, upset, frustrated. I don't want to feel all those things. Listen, I'm going to feel them. Here's the thing. Crazy people get this so twisted. Oh my God, you're not real. You got to enjoy the shadow side. You got to embrace your shadow side as much as your light side. Bish! You're buying and drinking the Kool-Aid, just to let you know. Just to let you know. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have moments of happiness. There's going to be times where you might be a little sad. But again, once you start knowing these things, then you realize even the sadness, it turns and, it shifts. You don't really stay there, Dr. Caroline Leaf is a really good backing up for what it is that I'm talking about. Studies have shown that your brain is not wired for hate, for sadness, for anxiety. That's the reason why we get all jacked up when we feel hate, fear, or, shame or guilt or any of those feelings. The reason why you feel so jacked up is because we're not supposed to be feeling that way. There's like shades of it, you know what I mean, where you can like know your preference, but that's not something that we're supposed to be feeling, because your brain's not wired for it. Neuroplasticity is what it's called when you have the ability to change the brain, the neurons in the brain, and that studying has just, and I started studying that a couple of years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, and when that information became public knowledge that most people are not looking up, it just made me start thinking about a lot of the things that we have bought. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, we're mankind. It's not like we're supposed to know everything already. We're learning together, and there's a lot of things that I found that I would say to myself to try to motivate me to do something that I found out now, Beesh, you wasn't feeling that because the energy wasn't there. Your ass wasn't supposed to be doing it. The things that I motivated myself for didn't exactly work out any damn way. You know what I mean? But that's not to say that we're just supposed to sit around and twiddle our thumbs and things like that. Like, I'm not saying that. And not feeling shame that you don't want to be scared. Do you know how many people laugh at me when I tell them that I don't like to watch scary movies? I don't want to be scared for entertainment. I'm sorry that you like to be scared for entertainment. Don't shame me and call me because I don't want to watch a scary movie. This is what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? We are moving into this time period where we're like, oh, we're allowed to be free. Do you boo? Do you boo? But we're still kind of like, still talking shit. But talking shit is fun, isn't it? I'm not going to say that I don't talk shit because, I was talking a little bit of shit about, I talk a little shit too. It's a little fun. Oh my God. Whew. Well, I feel better. Like I just had a nice therapy session. So I appreciate that. I'm not paying you $100 though. I do feel much, much better. And I'm going to go out today and I'm going to be as comfortable as possible. I'm going to look for the things that I enjoy. I am going to appreciate. I'm going to feel gratitude and I'm going to have a damn good time this weekend. Yeah. Okay. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm not with it. I am no longer drinking the fear Kool-Aid. Not having it. And I hope you stop drinking the Kool-Aid too. All right? We're strong, we're awesome, and we're on our way to getting everything we want. Oh, go ahead, do your thing today. Let's go manifest beauty. Hold up. Can I just say that I did it again? Can I just say that I did it again? And I think I am now more aware why I'm not more known. Because when I was on the radio, I didn't really have to promote myself. My voice and everything was just being broadcast everywhere, and it is what it is. Either you listen or you don't, right? But I just told you about my book. I told you about my DJing. Told you about the things I'm doing, and I still didn't talk about it. Anybody notice that? Okay. Sonja, SONJADENYSE.com. It's my website. You can hire a chick, open format DJ, and I do travel to play. I cannot believe this. And I also wrote a book. It's called Manifest Beauty, where I put in some exercises and some of my knowledge that I know about creating a deliberate life and having a really good time no matter what. Yeah. Okay. Promote yourself, girl. No, I'm telling you, I'm just leaving it up to the universe. You'll find me. Whoever's meant to find me, you'll find me. It's all good.
This is Sonja.
Yo, check it out. It's my girl, Sonja.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, what up, Sonja?
Hey, welcome to the segmented part 2 of this last podcast that I did. Because I've had conversations with people a little bit further about what I mean by that. I don't want to be scared, and I ain't trying to do nothing scared no more. Let me further elaborate what I mean by that we're drinking the Kool-Aid. I don't think that many people who are doing things successfully are actually doing them scared. I know that we have drunk the Kool-Aid believing that courage is the act of doing something while you're scared, but I beg for us to think about it like this. When we do things while we're scared, it does not come out right. Momentum and physics and the laws, there's no way that something that you're doing while you're scared is going to come out right. Doing something while you're nervous. When people sing when they're nervous, we hear it. When artists are doing something when they're nervous, you can hear it. I personally think that what happens is, and it's happening in a very minute of a second, in like a split second. When we're nervous or scared before we do something, 9 times out of 10, a person goes within themselves. They have a little pep talk, a little conversation. You got this. You could do this. Memories might flood your mind of times that you've done it before, and you line up. And when a person takes that split second to line up before they do it, it either comes out beautifully, it's smooth, they no longer feel the fear, they feel the passion and the love of the knowing. So I'm just saying it is a play on words, and it sounds like it might not mean that much, but it really does. Nobody's doing things scared. You're either lining up and then doing it and it's coming out great, or you're proceeding anyway, nervously, and then it shows, you know? So that's what I mean by I don't want to be scared. I am not drinking the Kool-Aid of being nervous and scared and having all these horrible thoughts and continuing to go forward. No, I'm going to take a second and I'm going to line up. And if I cannot line up, hence when I was up in that car, in that mountain with the rain and the fog and no cell phone service, and I said, I cannot line up with this. You got to get out of my car. I got to go home. I can't. I couldn't buck the momentum. So I'm just saying, when you feel it and you know that you cannot line up and you're like, and you just can't, don't do it. Back off. Don't do it. Either line up with what you are trying to do, okay? Line up with it and then do it, or don't do it. I don't want to be scared.
This is Sunshine.
Yo, check it out. It's my girl Sandra.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, what up, Sandra?